Welcome to the Coven Chat.
Thank you for joining me here at the Maiden Circle Coven Chat podcast, where we talk all things witchy, spiritual, and human.
Hello, Merry Meet, and welcome to the Coven Chat. Thank you so much for being here with me this week. In today's episode, we are discussing Yule, because it is Yule. Actually, I'm not exactly sure about the dates Yule falls on this year, but Yule typically starts on the winter solstice, which is typically the shortest period of daylight in the year, and then we start going back into longer periods of daylight as we move towards the spring. It's generally celebrated around the 21st or 22nd of December in the Northern Hemisphere, which is when we have our winter. But the shortest day of the year actually fluctuates. It can fall anywhere between the 19th, which is today when you're listening to it, and the 23rd or 24th, depending on what our climate is doing. So in today's episode, I would like to speak with you about Yule, where it comes from, different ways we celebrate it. Stick around for that. And for now, we are going to go ahead to our reading. I'm going to read to you a song. This song is quite old and can be heard both in the Christian practice and in the pagan community. As many of you already know, Christmas, the holiday that is happening next weekend, most of the methods used to celebrate it come from pagan celebrations. So it only makes sense that this song, that is also very popular for Christmas, is popular for Yule. As I said, this is a relatively old song. It may have been around since medieval times, although it was first seen written in the early 19th century in a book by William Hone called Ancient Mysteries Described. The symbols and symbolism in the holly and the ivy, which is the song, I don't know if I've actually said the name yet, but the symbols mentioned are used throughout many pagan rituals. You'll also notice holly and ivy in many secular Christmas celebrations, deck the halls with boughs of holly. I first heard it on a pagan playlist. So, without further ado, I'm going to read to you The Holly and the Ivy. The holly and the ivy, when they are both full grown, of all trees that are in the wood, the holly bears the crown. The holly bears a blossom as white as lily flower, and Mary bore sweet Jesus Christ to be our dear Saviour. The holly bears a berry as red as any blood, and Mary bore sweet Jesus Christ to do poor sinners good. The holly bears a prickle as sharp as any thorn, and Mary bore sweet Jesus Christ on Christmas Day in the morn. The holly bears a bark as bitter as the gall, and Mary bore sweet Jesus Christ for to redeem us all. The holly and the ivy, when they are both full grown, of all trees that are in the wood, the holly bears the crown. O the rising of the sun, and the running of the deer, the playing of the merry organ, sweet singing in the choir. So that is that. And as most of us know by now, if there was a Jesus Christ in existence, according to the Bible, he likely wasn't actually born in December. Again, most of our Christmas celebrations come from a variety of pagan resources. Anyway, I do hope you enjoyed that. Let's move on to our fun fact of the day.
Pagan fun fact. Here's your fun facts now.
So as of this episode's airing, it is December 2022, and in the Northern Hemisphere where I live in the United States, it is winter. Or officially, winter is during the solstice, so we are technically in fall as I'm recording this, but it's winter. It's cold as heck in New York. At this time of year, many people find themselves coming down with colds and the flu, not to mention the global situation that we've all discussed and known about over the last 2 years. Every year of my life, people get sick in the winter. Now, I am not a medical professional. I am not giving any medical advice. But there are certain things that I like to do for myself to boost my immune system or give it a bit of backup if I'm already feeling not so hot. I typically make myself a brew consisting of things like onions, garlic, turmeric, and apple cider vinegar. Sometimes I add lemon, even though I don't love lemon, and I almost always add honey, even though I hate the taste, because all of these things are known to have benefits when it comes to our health. Once again, not a medical professional, not giving medical advice, but there are some herbs, some things from nature that have been shown to nourish the body and support the immune system. These include herbs like peppermint, which is an expectorant, which means it can help you if you have bronchitis, cold, flu. If you have the right amount of pure peppermint, it can create sweating and cool the body, so it is known to help with fevers. It's also known to help with headaches and sometimes migraines. It's also very soothing, especially when you're feeling all blocked up. It's a wonderful way to release the nasty. There's also yarrow, which can itself help promote sweating, and that cools you down if you have a fever. And it's often taken in combination with peppermint and elderflower. We've also all heard of sage, which is known for cleansing and ridding your space of negative energies, but it can also help with sore throats and again fevers. You've probably had licorice cough drops because they can help soothe your throat and soothe chest pains. Licorice has been used to treat asthma, bronchitis, throat problems, colds, coughs, and it contains antiviral components. It's also an anti-inflammatory. Another expectorant is thyme. It's really good for the lungs, for dealing with coughs. And of course, we've also seen echinacea cough drops and echinacea tea. Echinacea root is known as an anti-infective, antiviral, and it has been said to build up white blood cells and encourage helper cells. Last but not least, we have the elderberry, which is also known to boost your immune system and has been used for fighting bacteria and viruses and treating the common cold. Again, none of this is medical advice, just some cool, interesting things about these herbs. And if you are interested in trying them for yourself, I of course recommend getting a doctor's advice and making sure they're not going to interact with any of your own medicines or your DNA. Some things can just react in a body in certain ways. So of course I encourage you to get the right opinions, get the right advice before you decide to add these herbs to your life. But if you are dealing with a cough right now, you can go to your local CVS or other pharmacy and pick up some licorice or echinacea cough drops. Look into these and many other herbs, and I wish you the healthiest, most pleasant holiday season. So that's your fun fact, just a bunch of herbs. Let's move on to our musing of the day. So, Yule. Yule is one of the many holidays that fall during the final months of the year, at least in the Northern Hemisphere. Yule is one of the reasons I say happy holidays. From October to February, we got a lot of holidays. We have Samhain and Halloween, then we have Yule and Christmas, then we have New Year's and Valentine's Day, and there are a couple of other holidays in between there. I think Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday is in January, which in the United States we celebrate as a holiday. So happy holidays. I may have mentioned it before, but for many years I wasn't a celebrating witch. I celebrated Samhain and Halloween because Halloween was already my favorite holiday. Even as a kid, I loved the costumes, the candy, the spookiness. I was always known as a creepy child. I grew up watching horror movies. They comforted me. So Halloween just sort of fell into that. As I got older and started working with other people in the spiritual community, I started celebrating, and we celebrate quite a few holidays. The Wiccan holidays, there are specifically 8 main Sabbats. Of course, there is Samhain and Yule. There are Imbolc and Luna or Lamas or Lunasa, depending on who you talk to. Then there is Beltane, the summer solstice, the spring equinox, and the autumn equinox. And as I mentioned, Yule is the celebration of the winter solstice. The Wiccan holidays tend to fall in line with the climate, with the weather, with the changes of the earth, and that's why they may fall on different dates in the southern hemisphere, because their seasons are essentially flipped. But of course, we are here to discuss only one of these holidays, and that is Yule, which nowadays has been celebrated alongside Christmas, because they do tend to have a lot of the same symbolism and a lot of the same methods of celebration. Yule, however, is very different from Christmas and much, much older. It is an ancient tradition that originated in the Germanic countries, so Germany, Lithuania, Ukraine, etc. The Germanic-speaking peoples celebrated Yule for probably thousands of years before it was taken on by Christians and implemented, or a lot of its practices implemented, into what we know now as Christmas. As I mentioned in the introduction, Yule falls on the day when we have the shortest period of light, and afterwards the days begin to grow longer once again. So we celebrate Yule by celebrating the return of the sun, the return of fertility, the return of life, because soon after Yule, winter ends, and we have spring, which is when there is new birth. One of the ways we celebrate the return of the sun or the light is, of course, the Yule log, which is generally a log of wood with candles in it. According to almanac.com, the Yule log began as the entire Yule tree, and then families would take the trunk of their Yule tree and stick it into their fireplace, and it would supposedly feed the fire through the 12 days of Christmas, which are from Christmas Day through the evening of the 5th of January, known as the 12th night. There is also, of course, the Yule log cake, which a lot of us, especially in the pagan community, tend to make or try our hands at. One year, I even tried to make a Yule log cake. It wasn't the worst, but the next time will probably be better. Depending on who you ask, the 8 Sabbats of the year can also represent the transition between life and death, specifically that of the divine masculine god and his rebirth through the divine feminine goddess, where Samhain may be the death, Yule is the burial. Yule is where all is cold and still and stiff, where the very earth is dormant, where it looks as though our trees have died. And of course, Imbolc is where things begin to sprout, to return to life, until they are born in Beltane. And then they reach maturity in the summer, they reach old age in the fall, and then start the cycle over. So as I said, I was never much of a celebrating witch until I started working with groups. And thanks to that work with groups, I have led quite a few Yule rituals at this point. Thanks to all the lights, the candles, the log, the holly, the mistletoe. These rituals tend to be quite aesthetically pleasing. And because of the season, because it's around Christmas, they typically end up being celebrations. There's usually food, a potluck. There are gifts exchanged, and sometimes there are songs. Many of the Sabbats I've celebrated are ritual focused, but Yule tends to be party focused, celebration focused, focused on bringing back light, not just the physical return of the sun, but adding light into our lives, being people of light. Even in the darkest hours, even in the longest nights, the spark of life lingers on. That light is within us just as it is without or outside of us. This is, of course, a great time to look at our inner shadows, at the darkness inside of us, as the light is revealing those shadows, it makes that darkness much more visible. So this is a fantastic time for self-reflection and self-understanding, for seeing what we consider dark inside of us and finding something to love about even that. Even our shadows deserve love. Even our dark sides deserve love. And even though Yule falls a bit before the sun actually returns to its most powerful state, this is the time that we can welcome back warmth, welcome back light, welcome back life. So as I've said, I encourage you to look at the darkness within you and shine light on it. I encourage you to reflect on these things you consider dark. Take this time between Yule and the New Year or the 12th night and ask yourself the hard questions. Ask yourself what you've done to hold yourself back and how you can move forward bigger and brighter and more brilliant than ever before. And I believe you can, but of course we all have to look at the things that we do that perpetuate our sufferings. Life is largely about choice, especially here in the United States. So what choices are we making? What actions are we taking? And are those choices and actions leading us to the life we say we want to live? So Yule, it's a wonderful time for shadow work and self-reflection. It's a wonderful time for celebration and community. It's a wonderful time for music and food. Some might even say it's the most wonderful time of the year. Of course, your opinion is your own, and I am simply sharing thoughts, and I'd love it if you'd share your thoughts with me. How do you celebrate Yule? What's your favorite aspect of the holiday? And slightly unrelated, what's your opinion on eggnog? So that's our musing for the day. Thank you so much for listening. Let's move on to our card reading. So today I thought I would use the Whole Heart Oracle as well as the Universe Has Your Back Oracle for our reading. You may hear some trumpet or saxophone and some sort of horn in the background that's being played outside, and it might get cleaned up in editing, but if not, I do hope you enjoy it. It's really soothing for me. It's been happening for a couple weeks now. I'm not sure who's playing it, but it's become very soothing. So if you do hear it, wonderful. If you don't, that's fine too. Let's go ahead and start our reading. As with last week, you won't hear me shuffle. We're just going to go straight into the cards that are pulled. We have, what does it mean to you? If you feel like you have been looking for love in all the wrong places, it might benefit you to examine what love means and whether you and those around you are living up to that. Some of your views may need to be updated. We have, someone's got a crush. Someone in this situation is really into the other. This may be a secret or blatantly obvious. Either way, the romantic connection is real enough for both parties to be aware of it. We have, this is a divine connection. There's no doubt about it. This connection was decided long ago by divine beings of fate and destiny. Don't question it. This connection is truly meant to be. We have, they love me not. Someone may be flipping back and forth on a decision, especially one concerning romance. If it's you, take a different approach to make the right choice. If it's another, consider putting your foot down and demanding an answer. Of course, be prepared for an answer you might not like. We have, rely on yourself. It's up to you to carry the burden of the situation. Relying on others at this time may lead to disappointment. And finally, what are you hoping to achieve? Are you sure you're after the right target here? If you find yourself trying to force an outcome, consider stepping back and look at the big picture. Will the way you're going about the situation help you achieve your goals? Those are all the cards that came out. On the bottom of the deck, we have our number 1 card, Live with Your Whole Heart. Allowing yourself to have an open heart will invite abundance and healing into your life. Don't be afraid. Now is the time to live fully and joyfully. So already from the start, I was getting a very specific message. Someone has feelings for someone. You may have feelings for someone else. They may have feelings for you, but they're questioning it. They're doubting it because you're not their type, or they're not your type. Take whatever resonates. But we have what does it mean to you? So we have someone who has had an idea of what love is, of what their type is, of what they actually want in a partner. And then they've met someone, or you've met someone who's completely turned that on the head, who's completely different. You do have a crush, and this is a divine connection. But again, with they love me not, you're going back and forth, or they're going back and forth. Again, take what resonates. But I'm going to, from here on out, just say you. So you're going back and forth. You're not really able to accept this difference. You're really struggling with saying, okay, well, I have these feelings for this person, but they're not my type. They're not the kind of person I'm into. They don't look like the kind of people I date. They don't live the kind of life of the people I date. They're just too different. They're just not what I'm used to. And this again is asking, have you been looking for love in all the wrong places? What does love even mean to you? Are you being very shallow about it? Are you thinking about looks? Are you thinking about money? Are you thinking about, things that don't matter as much as the person, as the soul, as how they treat you, how they make you feel, how you make them feel, how you interact with each other, your conversations, your mental stimulation, whether they speak to you on a spiritual level. The rest doesn't matter. The shell doesn't matter. But you may have been going about love in this very shallow way. You may have been going about love based on outdated viewpoints, despite the fact that you know and feel that this is a special connection. But this is a divine connection. You know that this is someone special to you. That's why it's bothering you so much, because they are not like anyone else who's ever been special to you. They're very different. With they love me not, it does feel like, again, either you're going back and forth or someone else is going back and forth. And if it's you, this is your sign to make that choice, to finally decide, okay, do I want something that is fulfilling? Do I want this divine connection? Do I want this joy? Or do I want to stick with my old ideas of what love is and hold out until I find that person? Then we got rely on yourself, a number 40, and what are you hoping to achieve? Number 14. I almost did not pull these cards out. It stuck a bit, and I was like, okay, well, maybe this isn't right. And then when I was reading it out, my throat sort of closed up. That really gives me the vibe that this is what's going on internally. You're basically saying, no, I have to deal with this. I can't rely on other people. I have to make all these decisions. And then with what are you hoping to achieve? It's asking, are you right about that? Are you right about thinking you're the only person who can deal with this situation? Are you right holding this feeling to yourself? Because with someone's got a crush, this feeling is internal. Like, you haven't revealed it. You haven't spoken to the person. You haven't opened yourself up. And what are you hoping to achieve by doing that? What are you hoping to achieve trying to control things, or trying to even control how you feel, because how you feel isn't in alignment with what you think you're supposed to feel? On the bottom of the deck, again, we have that live with your whole heart. This is your message to not only just make the decision, but make the decision based on your feelings, on your heart, on what is meaningful to you. What means love to you? What means growth? What means healing? What connection is going to fulfill you, as opposed to just look good, as opposed to just fit a certain number of boxes or check off a certain number of boxes? What actually is going to feed your soul? Why are you trying to do this on your own? Why are you trying to navigate this on your own when clearly this connection is meant to be experienced by both of you? It's a divine connection. So I think it's very clear. I'm going to go through the numbers here. We have a 12, which comes down to a 3. We have a 47, which comes down to an 11 or 2, a master number 11. We have 56, which is a master number 11. We have 26, which is an 8. We have 40 and 14, which is 5. And then again, we have that 1 card on the bottom. So this is a new beginning. We have 2 11s here. With someone's got a crush and this is a divine connection, they come down to 11. So this is a partnership. This is a connection. This is possibly soulmates, possibly twin flames. This is a real special connection. And you are sabotaging yourself from this energy. You're holding back. You're not making that choice yet. You're focusing on all the wrong things. You're denying yourself for all the wrong reasons. So I think your advice here is that bottom card. Live with your whole heart. Express yourself. Be very clear about what you desire, what you feel, and what matters. Again, what does love mean to you? Are you pursuing love based on what it really means? Or are you looking at it as something from the past, something that is no longer in alignment with who you are and no longer alignment with what the world is really? because we've got a lot of people waking up to their souls, their spirits. Because of that, the way we operate is changing in a large scale. But this is very personal. This is a connection between you and one other person. Again, take what resonates. It could be that they're going through this. If you don't feel like you're going through this, it's possible that they are. And with Someone's Got a Crush, you know who that person is. Both of you are aware of this connection. One of you is just not acting in alignment with themselves, with their souls, with their heart, for whatever reason. So we're going to pull some cards from the Universe Has Your Back Oracle to send you off with a positive message. We have the key to prayer is to forget what I think I need. Again, that goes back to that. Are you just looking to check boxes? Are you, again, thinking you need something because you liked it in the past, but this person, this desire, this connection is so different? You have to forget what you think you need. You have to forget what you're used to. You have to forget what you used to expect or used to believe was love. What fell out of the deck is, instead of praying for an outcome, I pray for the highest good of all. That goes perfectly with what are you hoping to achieve. Instead of trying to force something, instead of trying to make something happen, just trust your heart. Pray for the good of all and work towards the good of all. And we have energy flows where my attention goes. So again, where are you aiming your attention? Where are you aiming your thoughts? What is your focus here? Why are you, once again, trying to handle everything by yourself? Why are you trying to control everything? When what you really need to do is change what you think you need. Pray for the best and put your intention, put your energy on the best. Whether that's love, whether that's this connection, whether that's personal healing so that you can be ready for this connection. If you want to be ready, I do think you are. Because all we have here is you holding yourself back, or they're holding themselves back and not making that choice. Underneath it, we have this energy of you thinking you need to rely on yourself, but is that right? And then with our universe cards, we have this energy of what you think you need, what you think you're supposed to do is not necessarily correct. Put your attention in the good. Put your attention in the love. Put your attention in hope, the things that you hope for, the outcome that you wish and pray for. And again, finally, live with your whole heart. Have an open heart. Invite abundance and healing into your life. Do not be afraid. Now is the time to live fully and joyfully. Because this holding back, this isn't joyful. Not making a decision is not joyful. It's not. So do what your heart is telling you to do at this time. Reassess what you think is right and go where the blessings are. So that is your reading this week. It was a bit of a specific message, but hopefully it resonated with someone out there. Hopefully it connected and is helping you make that decision and move forward. Know that you don't have to rely on yourself. We are here for you. I am here for you. Message me, comment wherever you find this episode, and let me know what you're going through. And if you need someone to talk to, you can always book me for a private reading. That link is in the description under the Maiden Circle link tree. I hope and look forward to hear from you. Once again, thank you for joining me on this episode. I do hope that your holidays are magnificent. This is our last episode of the year. So I am going to be taking a break because our next Monday is the day after Christmas, and the Monday after that is the 1st of 2023. So I will be taking a break, and we will be resuming our episodes the week after New Year's Day. So I do wish you an absolutely blessed Yule, a Merry, Merry Christmas, and the happiest of Happy New Years. Thank you again. I look forward to hearing from you. Please take good care of yourselves. And even though you won't hear from me for the next couple of weeks, know that I love you and I send you so many blessings. Take care of yourselves. See you next year. Be well. Blessed be. Bye now.